For several generations, Star Wars fans have known the Jedi Knights as the guardians of peace and justice in the Star Wars galaxy. But for most of the franchise's history, the mainstream films have only really shown the Jedi on the decline, in the case with the prequels, or as barely extinct with the originals and sequels. We rarely have seen the Jedi at the height of their power, when they are truly these guardians that Obi-Wan has described them to be. In recent years, we've seen Star Wars try to venture out into this period, most recently with the Disney Plus series The Acolyte. This, of course, is a series set during an era known as the High Republic, which has been a massive multimedia books and comic initiative set a few hundred years before The Phantom Menace. The High Republic depicts the Jedi at their height. However, what if I were to say that this was not the first time we've seen the Jedi at the height of their power? In the 1990s, Dark Horse Comics and writer Tom Veitch got together to detail the events of the Star Wars galaxy 5,000 years before A New Hope, to show a time when the galaxy was filled with Jedi and tales were told of their great deeds against the dark side of the Force. This series would come to be known as Tales of the Jedi. As stated before, Tales of the Jedi is a story that takes place 5,000 years before the events of Episode 4. Now, what makes this series so fascinating in terms of a look back at the ancient past of Star Wars is that it was made before the prequel trilogy even existed. Because of this, Star Wars authors had only the expanded universe to look at in terms of what they could pull for inspiration when building up the Star Wars galaxy. So already, it's fascinating to get a glimpse at what the past could look like. In these stories, we see a Star Wars galaxy that looks almost medieval in its design, with arcane-looking spaceships and characters wielding actual swords and spears while still carrying blasters. Everything is very much trying to make something unique in the Star Wars galaxy, but at the same time, make it not feel completely out of place, creating an amazing aesthetic for the ancient past, before even the Knights of the Old Republic games. As for the story itself, it is very much a classic Star Wars saga, without even trying to be, as it follows the tales of Jedi Ulic Qel-Droma, Nomi Sunrider, and fallen Jedi Exar Kun, and their battles of light versus dark. Many of the story beats have parallels with Lucas's saga, such as Ulic Qel-Droma, who is very much a parallel to Anakin Skywalker, due to letting his curiosity about the dark side cause him to fall and become a Sith Lord. Exar Kun is another example of showing parallels to Lucas's saga, showing us almost what a Sith Lord non-subservient to a galactic emperor would be like. In many ways, he is Vader without the mask, someone who embodies the full power of the dark side. The series also shows the Jedi at the height of their power, as well as doing many things we would see them doing in the prequel trilogy and the High Republic. They are very much representatives of the Republic and allies, intervening when asked to help with disputes and more. Though, unlike the Jedi Order we see in the prequels, they are far more decentralized, only holding conclaves when larger galactic events need a larger number of Jedi. The series also introduces several firsts to the Star Wars galaxy that would stick with us, such as the world of Korriban, the ancient homeworld of the Sith. Tales of the Jedi also introduced the double-bladed lightsaber, wielded by Exar Kun. This is the same double-bladed lightsaber that Maul would later make famous in The Phantom Menace. But what Tales of the Jedi does more than anything is that it was the first time Star Wars stepped out of the original trilogy orbit. It just goes to show that you can tell stories without Luke, Han, Leia, Vader, and the rest of the original trilogy cast. A true expansion of the universe in every way possible. I've been Mac, aka Mickey. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to tune in every week for more Star Wars and Lucasfilm news. And may the Force be with you.